something I realized pretty obviously. We're all just sinners throwing rocks at each other. That's all we are, is sinners throwing rocks at other sinners. I hit the nail on the head with this. Oh yeah, I'm going to cut you down. Oh, you just cut me down. Oh, throwing rocks at one sinner, throwing back at another sinner. It gets nowhere. It does. It gets nowhere. Ugh. So I'm like, how do I do this, God? Without it becoming a sinner battle. Well, your sin is this. Well, your sin is that. Your sin is this. I'll cut you down with this phrase. Oh, I'll cut you down with this phrase. It's just sinners throwing rocks at sinners. That's all we are. That's it. That's all we are. It's a sad thing. So it's important not to get caught up in that. That's why I don't comment as much. You know what I mean? I don't. Just like whatever. It just opens up a sinner against sinner battle. Sinner against sinner. Me against you. Sinner against sinner. It's pointless. It's like a vacuum. You know what I mean? I'd rather move on to better things, like God's purposes. Instead of just throwing rocks at sinners. And Jesus comes by and is like, why are you throwing rocks at sinners? You know what I'm saying? Didn't I say, who has not sinned, cast the first stone? Yes, you did say that, Jesus. We thought you were away for a while. We didn't know you were watching. Sorry. I watched a Santa Claus movie. And it's like, he watches you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. You know how they say that about Santa? That's actually true when it comes to Jesus. That's actually true. 24/7 watches you. When you're asleep, when you're awake. When you're asleep, when you're awake. When you're asleep, when you're awake. Forever. Your whole life, Jesus watches it 24/7. Scary. I told you he's more scary than Santa. Way more scary. As far as watching you goes. I'm like, oh, the CIA found me. Jesus found me like 20 years ago. I tried to ditch Jesus. It didn't work. You guys just caught up to Jesus. Your tracking isn't as good as Jesus. Not even close. So, anyway, that's all I'll say for this video. Isn't it in that Bible story, don't the sinners just drop their rocks and walk away? Yep, they do. They drop their rocks and walk away after Jesus said that. So, moral of the story is, we gotta quit throwing rocks at each other. That's the moral of the story. Sticks and stones. There's no more throwing sticks and stones. So, it's harder than you think. It's a world that encourages people to attack. You know what I mean? To make themselves feel better. You know what I'm saying? Something. Anyways. In all fairness, I kind of spark it. I know what to say. So it's not anybody's fault out there if I trick them into typing at me an attack phrase at me. It's not their fault. I know how to do it. I do. I learned from the best. That wasn't Jesus. I learned from the best at sparking people to hate me. I learned from the best and not named Jesus. You can guess who that is. But I will say one thing. I've learned the art of misdirection. How to misdirect people. Unless you're a true follower of Jesus. And you kind of understand me by now. And you're a true follower of Jesus. You know when I'm trying to misdirect the common citizen. I'm trying to misdirect them. Look over here, look over here, look over here. Random video over here. Look over here, look over there, look over there. You're starting to figure it out. All these random videos that don't mean anything out of nowhere. So it's just misdirection to get the riffraff out of the way. You know what I'm saying? I learned from the best in that category as well. I grew up in a cult where it's all about misdirecting. You know what I'm saying? It's all about misleading, deception. You know what I mean? I grew up in that. I know how to do it. So I can do it so much I can leave like I know who the real follower of Jesus is, you know, when I'm done. And it takes years for me to be done. I'm like, okay, they are legit believer in Jesus. They are. After years of videos. Years. Well, I'm not kidding. I've been doing this a while. So, gotta know who your friends are. For sure. Especially in this world. So, I know the kind of people that are on the opposing team, the backstabbers, the traitors, you know, the cheaters on their spouses, you know, the backstabber types, you know, among thieves. I know their types, so I know how to weed them out. So, anyway, throwing stones at we're just sinners throwing stones at other sinners. That's all we're doing. Yeah. And I'm giving the sinners nowhere to hide. Nowhere to hide. I'm smoking them out. They go to the groceries. If they go to the grocery store, they could run into me. If they go here, they could run into me. If they go there, they could run into one of my flyers. If they go over there, they could run into one of my flyers. If they go to buy food, they could run into one of my flyers. If they go to do their laundry, they could run into one of my flyers. You seen the pattern? I've left them nowhere to go without seeing my flyers. And I've run into people they're like, I've seen those flyers. I'm like, yeah, that was me. I'm putting those up. Yep, I'm tired of this world. Let's get this moving good. Let's get this moving. So, until the whole world sees these flyers about being saved. Until they all see it. They all see it at least once. Before God raptures people out of here. You know what I'm saying? Then everybody left was like, hey, so many people disappeared. What's the deal? And I'll be standing there. I'm like, the rapture happened. I didn't get taken either. We're stuck here. It's about to get interesting. That's when things get really interesting, in my opinion. After the rapture, think about it. So many people just disappear out of nowhere. That's when things will get really interesting. If you're still on the earth. So. It's important not to talk about the rapture or think about it because no one knows when it's going to be. So it's not healthy to just think about it. You just got to keep living a Christian life, basically. So then you have no need to worry ever. Anyways, but until then, throw the stones. I can take it. So, I've proven I can take it. I've proven it. Like you think Jesus had a beating, you ain't seen nothing yet. Keep throwing the rocks. Keep throwing them.